Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Beckham. Are you aware that you can download this video to your desktop for convenience from my website? If you visit the address you can see on screen, you'll notice some donate buttons on my site because I do not generate any income from YouTube or anywhere else. All I ask is if you download my work, please consider a small contribution to help me provide these videos. It would be appreciated. My interest in audiovisual goes back quite a long way to the days when we were using film. I then moved on to Pictures to Exe and now PTE AV Studio, but my interest has always been with still images. But these days it's difficult to ignore video. Now, over the past few months, I've found myself dropping the odd video into my presentations. But I received a question recently about video editing, and it gave me the idea for this particular video. Now, when I say video editing in this instance, I'm talking about trimming video length, choosing which part of the video clip that I want to show. Now this means that I may have to trim the front and or the end of the video clip, but the question is by how much? As you probably know, there are many ways to achieve the same ends with Creative AV. The technique I'm about to demonstrate is just something I've found useful. So let's take a look at this project in PTE AV Studio that I've prepared for this demonstration. Now I'd like to put some video into this sequence, but when I'm putting the sequence together, I'm not entirely sure where the video is going to appear and how much of the video I need to use. The video may be 30 seconds long and I may only need 10 seconds. Now because this is a demonstration, I've gone ahead and programmed this short sequence. If I scroll to the end, you can see I've got an image here which just says video goes here. Now it's at the end of the presentation, but in fact it could be anywhere along the timeline. So what I do is I create my presentation with a video holding image. Now this is just a marker to hold the place where the video is intended to be added later. Now my marker image is a little bit fancy, but that's for your benefit. You could just use a blank slide to do exactly the same. I find a marker image is much easier to work with than a lengthy video while I'm engaged in the synchronization process. Now once I've synchronized this image to the music and I'm sure I'm happy with the results, I've done a couple of full screen previews, then I know exactly how much of the video I need and I can edit that video and drop it into place. Let's take a look into the timeline. We can get to the timeline down at the extreme bottom right corner with the button, but the F6 key is far more convenient. Now, as I've been saying, I have gone ahead and pre-programmed this short demonstration, which is only just over 1 minute in length. So although we're going to be dealing specifically with a bit of video at the end here, it may be a nice idea if we just take 1 minute and you can view what I've created so far. So what I'm going to do here is to go up to the top right of the screen and click to run a full screen preview. Now I'm just using one of my video placement images here, but of course I could use 2, 3, 4 for as many videos as I intend to use. But once I've got my sequence programmed, and I'm pretty sure that it's complete in as much as I'm going to know how many seconds of video I need, if I touch that F6 key and we go back into the slide list, then when we look at the bottom right of the thumbnail, we can see exactly what we require here. We're going to need 7.9 seconds of video. But is that absolutely true? Well, let's take a look in the timeline. Because here we've got to take into account the fade of the blank. If we count the seconds here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's our 7.9. We may as well round that to 8. But we've actually got another 3 seconds here. So we're going to need 8, 9, 10. We're going to need at least 11 seconds of our video. So now we can go to the file list here. I'm looking for the video. There's the actual video I want to use. So now we can edit this and prepare it for the position we've got ready. Now when we're working with video, it may be a nice idea to be able to see down at the bottom of the screen where we can see the resolution 1920 1080. It would be nice if we could see the duration of the video we're about to edit, bearing in mind we need to edit 11 seconds. So we can actually reveal that if we go to our settings. If we go to our settings at the top left of the screen, choosing Preferences, and then we go into the toolbars, if you scroll right down to the bottom, there's an option here that says Duration of a Media File. Well, let me tick that and OK it. I'm just going to click off of that video and then I'll go straight back on. Now when you look down at the bottom of the screen, you can see that the video length is 16 seconds. Now that would be useful because we could find we need an 11-second video in here and the one we had planned is only 10. Now we've got a problem. If we don't make allowance for the fade or the transition of the next image, then we're going to see the video run out of time before it leaves the screen, and that can be quite disconcerting on the eye. But we're okay here, so we can right click and choose to convert or trim the video clip. Now I've only got to lose 5 seconds, so it's not absolutely crucial here. But with some video clips it could be, because we may use 11 seconds from the front of the video, 11 seconds from the back of the video or the end of the video, or maybe 11 seconds from the middle. That's your creative choice. But I'm going to trim the video here, and you see the little window that appears. Now I quite like the end part of this video, so I'd be looking to maybe trim a little bit off the front of mine. Now when I pick up this little marker down at the bottom left, as I scroll to the right, if you look up to the top right of this window, you can see the duration is going down. I know I need 11 seconds, so that would be too far. But if I get it as close as I can, and I can always use these options here if it's crucial that I get it spot on. But if we've got a little bit of leeway, I don't think that's going to hurt at all. I don't want to change anything else here, so all I've got to do is click OK and then OK again and allow PTE AV Studio to do the work, which as you can see here doesn't take too long at all. And now I can close that window, and what I'll find in the file list now is my original untouched video, but one that's been converted to a shorter length. Now the last part is very, very easy. as long as you've got the option that you can see up at the top right that says change image file. But if you don't have that on screen, you'll find it in exactly the same place. We just turned on the media length down at the bottom left here. So to put my video in place of this image, if I select the image, go to change the image file, click, I go straight to my project folder. There's a converted video. I can select it, and there it is in place. Now the video is in place, but it has done something which is going to affect how the sequence plays. So I need to demonstrate what the issue is. When I drop the video into position, what it's effectively done is to push the blank about 3 seconds forward. So the video now comes to a stop before it leaves the screen. Let me put my cursor just before this. It's going to be maybe a little bit jerky when it plays because I'm recording a screen capture here, but we'll give it a whirl. Listen to the music, watch the fade out, but notice when the video ends in relation to the visual part being finally off the screen, because the blank hasn't yet done its work. Now, nothing's really gone wrong here, it's just a quirk of the software we're using. All we've got to do really is bring this back about 3 seconds. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3. Cursor back in that position. And there you can see it looks pretty good. Now you can actually make another change in the preferences if you wish, so that if and when you drop a video into this position, it doesn't do what it just did here. Now the settings option that I want to show you is called Keep Full Slide Duration, but it may be easier to show you what it does if I set up a few new images. So I'll do that and take you back into the slide list. So with a blank new project and the slide list, I'm going to select this image, and this image. But if you look at the slide duration, which is shown to us on the bottom right corner, you can see that it reads 5 seconds. Now, if I was to hit the F6 key and we look into the timeline, what we'll notice is that 5 seconds measures from, let's say, the moment that this image first starts to appear on screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It does not include the transition of the next slide. With still images, that's not an issue. But if we had a video, the video comes to a crashing stop at the 10-second point here, but it's not yet invisible to us. It's still actually on screen and it looks rather unsightly to the eye. Sometimes we can see a similar thing if we're doing a full screen animation, let's say a pan or a zoom. So let me hit that F6 key once again, and I'll remove those 3 images, and we're going to go to Settings, Preferences. Now the preference we want is System, I believe. Sorry, it's Project. In the Project tab, we need to tick this box and OK. Now if I go to the same images and I double click the same 3, now you can see that the slide duration is actually measuring 7 seconds. We've kept the full slide duration. And if I select this and hit the F6 key, we can see that if we do a physical count. Let me move the cursor. So that's when the image first starts to appear on screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in the previous scenario, when I used the change image file option up at the top right to drop a video, should I have done that between these two images, it would have dropped in perfectly. These things like keep full slide duration in the preferences are just part of the learning of much of the software that we use these days. But I have seen many creators who seem to just live with their video clips coming to a crashing stop before they actually are removed from the screen by the next image, and it doesn't look so good. And it's so easy to put right, either manually or via that preferences setting. Now, if you have any suggestions for video topics, you can post them below if you're on YouTube, or perhaps via our forum at the address on screen. I'll link below too. See you next time.